If your team trades for KD or Giannis, do you have a legit chance at winning a chip? Let's get into it. First team on the list is going to be the Nets. They would probably need to acquire both the Greek Freak and KD. They're an okay team and do have a lot of draft capital. So they could get KD or Giannis and then another player. And then maybe if everything breaks, you could win it all. I find it unlikely, though. New York Knicks, I think they could be legit contenders with both as well as neither. Greek Freak on that team, obviously they're probably the favorites out of the East. They would most likely have to give up Cat and or Bridges, maybe OG. You're not going to give up all three, but maybe Bridges and OG, and you keep Cat and Brunson. Defense will be a little bit weak, but you would have Giannis. Regardless, KD's a good fit as well on that team. The Knicks would be legit contenders with both. The Toronto Raptors, you could say if they got Giannis, that with him and Barnes, they could compete-ish, maybe. The issue is you're most likely going to have to give up Barnes. If you don't give up Barnes, you're going to give up a lot of depth as well as picks. So I think just a duo of Barnes and Giannis can't get you over the hump. Utah Jazz, they could get both. They're still not winning a chip. The Rockets, I believe KD could get them there. Now, Giannis, I think for this team specifically, I think KD helps out a lot. Depending on who they keep, is Fred going to be on the team next year? All those athletic guards and wings. Şengün as well. KD's a good fit, will help space the floor. If you get Giannis and you were to give up maybe Fred, I don't know specifically who you would give up to get Giannis, but the floor spacing would be atrocious and outside shooting would suck. Pelicans, I think this is a tough one. I'm gonna go Greek Freak. I think if they got Giannis, Zion and Giannis would be a nasty, nasty team. They would be pretty limited on the outside for sure, but in the East, you've got a few of the best bigs, and I know Zion isn't necessarily big, but that would be a scary duo. I don't think KD and Zion are enough. Now, obviously, if you give up Zion in the trade, then you're not really any closer to championship. I mean, with Giannis, sort of, but if you can get Zion and have Giannis, I think that's a solid duo. Lakers, I think if they were to get either Giannis or KD, that would put them in championship contention. LeBron, Luka, Giannis, KD. Now, if they were to trade LeBron, then it would definitely change things. I don't think they would trade maybe for Giannis, but I assume that would be the big three, and they'd be lacking that true center. They'd be lacking a lot of depth because you'd probably have to trade Anthony Richardson or Austin Reeves. I don't know how to say Anthony Richardson. Bulls, I'm going to say .01. They've got Levine. They got Ball. If you can keep both and get, I don't know, either or. I mean, it's unlikely, but it'd be okay. I'm gonna go KD. I think KD makes more sense on the Wolves than Giannis, even though once again I think Giannis is a better player. I think Ant, KD, and Rudy. Now I understand Rudy would probably get traded. If Rudy gets traded, and if it's Ant and Giannis, and then they get to keep the rest of the core, I think Giannis would make more sense. If you get to keep Rudy, then I think KD makes more sense. So, but if you're getting rid of Rudy, I don't really think you're a true championship contender with just Giannis and Ant. I mean, they're both excellent, but I don't think they're that good. Trailblazers are in .01. They've got a lot of good guards. Either of these guys would help them out, but nothing more than a play-in. Once again, it's weird because KD spaces the floor, and he's not super ball dominant. Joker and Giannis on the same team, it'd be cool. It wouldn't work. Like, are you spraying the ball out to Giannis? And Giannis can be running, and it doesn't make sense. With KD, if they were to, I guess you go Michael Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, maybe, if you can trade Michael Porter Jr. and picks, then yeah, it's an easy championship, or at least close. If you trade Jamal and you trade Michael Porter Jr., then it's like team got better, but not by a lot. Either of these guys on the Thunder, you give Williams, really give up anybody other than Shea, even if you have to give up Holmgren, which Holmgren's more valuable than KD at this point. But, I mean, imagine a Holmgren for the Greek Freak. I think that could be an off-the-wall trade. That the Thunder, they win the chip this year, and then they're like, we want more. Grizzlies. I'm going to go... this is interesting. I'm going to go not likely. Part of the reason they moved off of Desmond Bane was so they're not in the aprons, the hard cap. They do have the capital, especially to get KD, but you just get like a taller Desmond Bane, essentially. I mean, he'll be a little bit more efficient and a slightly better defender, but you could give up 4 first-round picks and then some bench player for KD. I don't find it likely. I assume you'd probably have to give up Jaren Jackson Jr. for Giannis and then picks, but I don't think that's a legit team. We've got the Mavericks. I think they tried the first pick and possibly Lively, but that'd be more for Giannis, not really KD. I think if they can keep Kyrie, if they can keep Anthony Davis, Giannis would be crazy. KD would also be crazy. That's an easy one. I think Spurs are also both. Now, some people might be a little skeptical on KD, but De'Aaron Fox, you got Castle. You'd have to give up the second pick and then probably some rotational young pieces. But, I mean, that's a Victor, KD, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, that is a big three. And Giannis and Victor on the same team with Fox pushing the pace. That'd be a fast, long team. The Suns, they obviously have KD, so that's not really a consideration. If they were to get, it doesn't even make sense to get Giannis. I'm going to put them in no. Booker and Giannis doesn't make any sense. And same thing with the Bucks. That swap wouldn't really make much sense. And we got the Clippers. I'm going to put them in... I'm going to put them in not likely. They're not going to give up Kawhi, I don't assume. Maybe for Giannis, but that timeline doesn't make sense for the Bucks. So you're going to have to give up all of the pieces other than Kawhi, and I guess you keep Harden as well. KD probably makes more sense. Kawhi and KD, that's a nasty wing duo. But still, does that team get you over the hump? I don't think so. Once again, not likely. To get, the thing is, they've got a good young core. To get Giannis, they're not going to give up anything to get KD. It wouldn't make sense, and KD doesn't want to play in Detroit. To get Giannis at this point, they'd have to give up. They'd have to sell the farm, and then it's just like you got Giannis and a new team. So I don't think that makes sense. Kings or no, they're in a big rebuild. I think KD doesn't want to go to cold weather, but I believe Giannis for, what do you trade, Mobley? Is Mobley worth more than Giannis? Because here's the thing. Giannis is a better player, but Mobley's younger, but Giannis controls where he goes to an extent. He can kind of tank his trade value, saying I only want to go one place. I think Giannis for Mobley, maybe. Is that crazy? I think that team would be... I'd say that's an upgrade. Not by a lot, but enough to get you over the hump, probably. Celtics, the issue with this is you're probably giving up Brown to make the contract work for Giannis. Tatum is going to come back in a whole year. Horford's gone. Porzingis is probably gone as well. I don't think Derek White and Giannis can win a chip. Ooh, this is an interesting one. So we are. I think it's got to be KD. Now, once again, I know KD only wants to play in warm weathers, but if it's Embiid, Maxey, and KD, and then I guess Paul George, you'd probably have to trade McCain and a couple firsts. McCain and a first might do it. That trio plus Paul George, maybe. Everyone would have to stay healthy, which, what are the odds of that happening? It's unlikely. Hornets, if they were to somehow land a Giannis, keep LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, maybe. Still find it unlikely. Washington Wizards, yeah, that's not happening. Orlando Magic, they just got the small KD in Desmond Bane. I mean, what would you even trade for? You don't want Giannis because Giannis would just be the better version of Banchero, I guess. I mean, a lot better version, but you get the point. I guess KD does make more sense, but would Banchero? Yeah, but you probably want more back. Banchero for KD straight up doesn't even really make sense for the Magic just based on their timeline and their cap situation. So I'm probably going to move them to not likely. KD, one of his preferred trade destinations is the Miami Heat. If they can keep Bam and Hero, maybe in a weak East, you could compete, but that still feels like the 4th or 5th seed, even at that. The Atlanta Hawks, you'd have to, if you can keep Trae Young and you have Giannis, I mean that's a pretty good team. It's still pushing it to be competing with Giannis, but it'd be an okay group. Greek, he doesn't make much sense. Honestly, neither of them make that much sense, but the Warriors, we've already seen it. He's already been good on the Warriors. With Giannis, I don't know who you'd be giving up. Would you be flipping Jimmy Butler immediately? You'd probably give up Pods. If you're looking to win now and you want to keep Butler and Draymond, you've got 3 guys that can't shoot the long ball. 2 of those guys can't shoot jump shot. I mean, yeah, Giannis doesn't make a lot of sense. The defense would be really good. I guess KD, you trade KD for Butler or something like that. The Pacers, I think both they would end up winning or be competing for the chip, but I'm going to put them in not likely just because why would you break up that good young core?